This video is going to be sick. Boys are going to absolutely love this one. Alright, start slideshow.
What's that?
S?
Yeah, there's one S. Just want to be sure I got it right. Don't mean to alarm you.
I think I'll solve.
Okay.
Cue, the boys are back in town.
Yeah.
What's up, my dudes? I know what you're all thinking, and despite Christian's famous 2016 quote, we're still not going to Mexico. South of the border this year just means south of Highway 60, aka the lesser known but still certified spicy side of the park. Border Patrol may or may not include overly curious chipmunks who steal your trail mix. You have been warned. So, some sad news. We'll be missing the Wolfman this year, and Kyle will not be making the trip. But, in spirit of commitment to the bit, I already made this slide before he bailed. So let's all just take a moment to appreciate the role he never got to fill. He'll be with us in spirit and in leftover memes from last year's video. Last year's vehicle was a Mazda CX-3. Amazing fuel efficiency, tragic storage capacity. It was like trying to pack 4 dudes and their duffel bags into a box of dude wipes. This year we're renting a Jeep Patriot, basically a box on wheels, so things are looking up. Still waiting for Dude Wipes to sponsor our trip. Next year could be the year if our video from the trip goes viral, boys. Alright, so let's talk canoe trip. This year we're heading out from the cottage again. So we'll paddle across Cache Lake to the dam, portage 370 meters to the Madawaska River, right past the old fire tower lookout trail that we did last year. From there we head down the Madawaska, past the ghost of the old railroad, to Mule Lake Rapids. Prime lunch spot, 0 train whistles. Then it's Lake of Two Rivers, one of the most recognizable lakes off Highway 60. We'll paddle across the whole thing, duck through the winding river and into Whitefish Lake. Night 1, we'll aim for this island campsite. Prime real estate. Some nice cliffs nearby that are part of the Centennial Ridges Trail, which we might hike later in the week. Day 1 will be 12.7 miles with just over half a mile of portage. Should take us a max of 6 hours, but probably less because I always overestimate and Christian sprints to the end of every portage anyway. Next up, deeper south into Rock Lake. Cottages, camping, and campground chaos on this lake, and 100-foot cliffs with legit pictographs. Jacob, please don't jump off of these cliffs. People have actually broken ribs off these ones. Then comes the big one of the trip, the Lake Louisa portage. 2,980 meters, aka the one we'll tell stories about later. But compared to our previous bangers like the Dixon Bonfield portage and 5 Mile Rapids, this one is pretty chill. Flat and friendly. I did it in 43 minutes once. True story. Once we hit Lake Louisa, we're officially in the backcountry. Backcountry campers and black bears only. This island campsite on the far side is reportedly top tier. Hoping to find it unclaimed. Day 2 will be 11.6 miles with 1 long portage. Max time should be 4.5 hours if vibes are high and no one loses a sandal. Day 3 is the return, and we'll bounce back north. This is the hop skipping section, smaller lakes, shorter paddles, more snack breaks. Rod and Gun portage is one of the steepest in the park and also known as Stairway to Heaven. And fortunately we're going down it, so yeah, knees, brace yourselves. There's some nice falls going into Harness Lake, and apparently a really scenic waterfall here on Head Lake. I've paddled across this lake a couple times and never stopped to check it out, so this year I want to make a point of detouring over to it. Final portage into Cache Lake is a clean 1 mile stroll. Basically a nostalgia hike for me. I used to do this one with my grandma back in the day. Then it's back to Cache Lake across to the cottage. We interrupt this programming to bring you Drew staring into the camera. Day 3 will take us 10 miles with 2.5 miles of portage. Max time is 5.5 hours unless someone falls into a thunderbox. So let's talk numbers. This year's trip will be 29.7 miles of paddling and 4.8 miles of portaging over 2.5 days, bringing me into my next section. As you all know, I've gone back and crunched some of the numbers from our previous trips. So here's some interesting facts. Drew's career canoe distance, longer than the distance from Charlottesville to the White House. Jacob's, basically Highway 60 end to end and back. And Christian, he's covered the Toronto airport to Huntsville. Absolute units. So Saturday the 16th, I get into Toronto at 7 a.m. Drew and Jacob arrive at 8:30. We'll grocery shop, kill time, probably fall asleep in a random park like last year. Christian lands at 12:15, then boom, jeep it up to the lake, ETA 4 p.m. Family's going to be at the cottage, my sister, her husband, and my niece, and then Mrs. Yu and her friend. Sleeping arrangements, we've got the main cabin on night 1. Sunday through Tuesday will be the canoe trip. Wednesday we chill and recover. And Thursday and Friday, optional excursions. First possible excursion is a little pilgrimage over to Little Island Lake, where there is a stand of old-growth hemlock trees. This would be a heartfelt tribute to our cottage namesake, aka Hemlock Hollow. So we would paddle up the Madawaska River like we did last year, and then make our way over to the far side of Tanamacoon, then take the 2 short portages on either side of Sheriff Pond into Little Island Lake. Another possible excursion is Tom Thompson's grave on Canoe Lake. This is true Canadian lore. This guy was a paddler, painter, and mystery man. Possibly murdered. Possibly still buried in Algonquin. Kind of looks like Christian. We would rent canoes from the portage store and paddle up to the old Mallet Cemetery on the far side of Canoe Lake. Optional excursion 3 is the Centennial Ridges viewpoint. Hike up, look back at our island campsite from earlier in the week, meal something. And that's the plan, my dudes. Saturday we drop Christian off at the airport for his 3:30 flight. Drew and Jacob follow around 6, and I close it out at 8:15. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're all as hyped as I am. And would you look at that, the guitar solo is starting. Enjoy the rest of the video, boys. Let's make 2025 legendary.